Begin tonight taking a look at the U.S. Capitol, where the House is poised to vote to reopen the government after the longest shutdown in U.S. history.
Pretty much all the Democrats plan to vote no. That includes Illinois Representative Bill Foster. He joins us now live from D.C. We know you're on a tight schedule. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It's actually down under 5 minutes, so I'm going to have to jump the moment and run over to the floor of the House to cast my vote. As you mentioned, I'm going to be voting against this.
Well, what was your reaction?
In the Senate, it passed because there was a promise to all the Democrats that they would be allowed to have a vote to preserve the tax credits for health insurance that make health insurance affordable to tens of millions of Americans. We have no such promise in the House. And so there's just no way that I think almost any Democrat is going to end up voting for this.
I'm just curious, Congressman, were you upset when you learned that your colleague, Senator Dick Durbin, was among the 8 Democrats that aligned with Republicans to end the shutdown?
No, look, he has his heart in the right place on this, and it's a tactical consideration. And it's a very different situation where they were promised that the Democrats could design a vote that would restore the Affordable Care Act tax credits. And hopefully, if I was to design it, you'd pay for it with a tax on billionaires. When we passed the Affordable Care Act itself, we passed $1 trillion tax increase on the wealthy. And that's how we paid for 100% of that. And millions of people got health insurance that had never had it before. Republicans just passed a $5 trillion tax cut with most of the benefits going to the wealthy. And now they're being forced to take health care benefits away from tens of millions of Americans. And it's just that simple, and why you're not going to see many Democrats voting in favor of this.
Well, let me ask you this. House Democrats are talking about pushing through a vote forcing the DOJ to release the Epstein files. Donald Trump continues to call this a hoax. What is your reaction to that? Do you see this happening?
Well, I think the Republicans are scared on this issue. We just finally got sworn in the newly elected representative from Arizona who signed, I watched her sign the 218th signature on what's called a discharge petition that will finally force a vote in the U.S. House about whether or not we should release the Trump Epstein files.
I want to ask you about Border Chief Greg Bovino, reportedly out of Chicago. Do you believe, Congressman, that the worst of the immigration enforcement tactics that we've seen play out here in Chicago are behind us?
I hope so. I don't have any special confidence. The Congress in its wisdom, or Republicans in Congress, voted an enormous amount of money to be wasted on ICE. And it's very destructive to our economy, destructive to families, and it's something that most Republicans, if you quietly talk to them, they say, look, we have to come up with a deal on immigration. Meanwhile, they're standing by silently as families are being torn apart, children are being separated from their parents, and just all manner of, American citizens are being detained without any probable cause, except for they seem like they might not be, white Anglo-Saxon males. It's really
U.S.
bad.
Representative Bill Foster, we know you're busy. Thanks for stepping out to talk to us. We know you have to go vote. Thank you.
Yeah. And again, his is a no vote.